Hi, everybody.
Hello,
How are
my
you?
wonderful son.
Hello, how are you?
Oh no, it's really quiet now. Crawford Collins. You have to turn up your volume.
I turn up my volume on my end.
Just one touch, yeah. It's
Is that good?
better. Try one more. See if it doesn't echo. Is that good? Yeah,
Is
that's
that better?
it's better. I
Okay,
don't know what
cool.
I don't know why
I
it
might
was
I'll just hold my phone. I think it's the way I'm setting it, so I can just hold it. It's all good.
okay. Well, Crawford, I'm just gonna read a little blurb about you. Crawford Collins is a successful social media influencer, actor, and entrepreneur with over 8 million followers across major platforms. He uses his platform to spread positive messages and inspire young people to pursue their dreams. Crawford was also a youth ambassador for the UN and has been involved in various causes that impact cultural positively. His networking skills, sense of humor, and charm have earned him brand deals, acting offers, and VIP events. Crawford has had a lead role as Scott in Guidance, online series, and Crawford grew up playing AAA hockey and enjoys active sports like snowboarding and longboarding. Crawford has also partnered with several well-known brands, including Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Hollister, Sony, Nike, and Amazon, among others. His press highlights include interviews with Dash Radio and Ricardo in the Morning Show, as well as features in Tube Filter and Trending All Day show Camboys. And the show Camboys. He is a DJ, lived in an influencer house, won the Reality House season 1, is a top live streamer on Twitch. He is committed to mentoring and inspiring young people to build strong relationships and networks to support their dreams. Crawford, welcome. And Crawford, one of the things I love about you that's in there as well is you have such an amazing sense of humor that you have brought to our family and to so many around you that, I'll be like, oh, Crawford, you're so funny. And then I get mocked for it, but you make me laugh. And we need that in so much, going on in our world, these days. And I wanted to ask you a few questions today about community. And we talked a little bit earlier about community being resources, relationships, resources, and opportunities. And I have a few questions around that for you. So
Let's
you can
do
say
it.
hello first before I
Hello,
start.
everybody. How we doing? Good to see you, some of you guys. And sorry for my voice. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm happy to be here. So I'm
Good. Try
excited to.
turning up your volume one more and see if it still doesn't echo.
You sure it's not on your end? But you want me to turn my volume up or down?
Up. Yeah.
Well, it's all the way up, so I don't
Okay.
know. That's for
Oh,
sure.
that's weird. Okay. Well, just talk loud as you can. I'm sorry your voice is like that. So Crawford, tell us how you not only came to be in Hollywood when you at first didn't want to go, but now what has made you stay?
Yeah, I mean, this would have been what, 10 years ago at this point. I just went to a new high school, and met a bunch of new friends. We had gone back and forth from LA to Canada a lot for my sister's music and different things. So, I was familiar with LA, but obviously Canada was still my home. And I just went to a new school, met a bunch of new friends, which, especially when you're in high school, can be a struggle. And then my parents kind of dropped it on me that like midway through the year that they were thinking about moving all of us out to LA. And at the time, I was like, I love LA, but like I just feel settled in. I'm just going to this new school. Like I was really enjoying it, and I was really kind of against it at first. And I also had just got a new job too, so just a lot of stuff was happening back home in Calgary. Um, and then I think I thought about it for a little bit, and eventually, I think I just had like a peace of mind that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go with my family, go with everybody, and see what happens. So yeah, it was kind of like I didn't want to go, and then I ended up obviously 10 years later, I definitely am glad I did, and I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But at the time, I was not team move to LA. I was not team yeah, I was kind of wanting to stay back home in Canada. So yeah.
Yeah, and it was such a beautiful thing when uh Crawford wasn't sure, and we couldn't come as a family without all our children agreeing. We couldn't just. He's 16. It was.
I think also like obviously I was 16, so I probably would have had to go eventually because if everyone wanted to go, but I respected that you guys like respected me enough to ask me and you wanted to make sure it was good with me, which I appreciated. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember when you told Dad and I wasn't there, and then we're in the car in the dark on the way back from Banff to Calgary, and you go, yeah, when we go to LA, and I start sobbing like, oh, Crawford wants to go. And here you are still there. And it's been fun to watch you in the personality that you have, just building what you have walked through. So can you tell everyone how you built into social media on your platforms, and what that was like? Like, what was that like, the journey of that?
You mean how I got into it,
Yeah.
or?
Yes.
So originally, I started creating, well, from a very young age, even before social media. Me and my brother Chris used to take my parents' camcorder, would film like these funny little skits about, like, we'd take a rotten apple and like sell it as like an infomercial, or just these random videos. And then I know Chris got a new MacBook, I think when we were like 11, 12 years old, or 12, 13 years old. And we would use the photo booth app on there to just film these like super random, like little videos that were like a minute, 2 minutes long. Nothing crazy. And then Chris, actually, my older brother, he had started a YouTube channel, and he had been doing it for about a year at that point. So he was like, "Oh, why don't we start a channel together? We called it Bro Vlog," and we started kind of uploading these random videos to YouTube, and they started to gain some traction. And I guess that's kind of how it started. But I would say the biggest reason I started is my brother. I look up to him a lot. He kind of was my mentor and had my back through a lot of it, helping me edit, helping me upload, teaching me everything he knew about it. So that's how I got into it. But yeah.
And it's beautiful. Like, you guys are such best friends. You and Christian are 3 days apart from a year, 3 days difference from a year. And so you're the same age for 3 days. And so you guys have journeyed. You don't know anything different from having that
Irish,
relationship.
Irish twins, yeah. Yeah, my brother's my best friend, so still to this day. Um, so it was a very cool thing to me to be able to kind of do something I loved with somebody I loved. So it's very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool for me.
Yeah. I love watching it. And it just made my heart thrill to see you as brothers doing things together and having fun and becoming successful at it. I remember my next question is, what's the perks of being an influencer? And I was thinking of when you guys would get these boxes of free, you get all these free, so this is an answer to the question, what are the perks of being an influencer? And, what was the benefits of that? Like, and what were the hard things?
I mean, yeah, the free stuff is cool, and I enjoy that for sure, the clothes and that stuff. But for me, it's just the freedom to kind of, number one, do what I love for a job, and number two, get have the freedom to pick my own hours and to be able to work from anywhere, and to be able to not be kind of constrained to like having to work this 9 to 5, or having to be in this location all the time, or for me, that's number one. And getting to work with people I love. Like, the coolest thing is just the collaboration aspect. I get to work with all my best friends, all my family, which is, to me, like, I'm pretty much working, but I'm hanging out with people that I'd be hanging out with even if I'm not working. So I think that to me is the coolest thing. Obviously, it's nice to get free clothes. It's nice to, get in the events and whatever stuff like that. But more important to me is kind of the people I get to do it with. So.
Wow, that's huge on community. And what were the hard things? What have been the hard things of being an influencer?
I guess on the flip side of not having a 9 to 5, you don't really have like a guaranteed income. It's kind of, you're waiting on brand deals sometimes. If you're streaming, donation can go up and down. YouTube AdSense can be like this. And also kind of the pressure of, you do have a lot of eyeballs on you. You have a lot of people caring what you're doing, whether that's having a relationship that's public, or, you know, people just want to know a lot about you that maybe you don't want to share. So the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. So, sometimes you don't want certain things on the internet. Sometimes you're going through something tough and maybe you're not in the mood to go and create a video or go on live or whatever. So I think, yeah, that would be the tougher side to me, is, kind of navigating that. But yeah, I think the positives far outweigh the negatives, in my opinion, but there definitely is, like anything, there's a couple things that, you know,
Well, I had a laugh the other day because I was looking up things to put a bio together. There's like these pages that say things about you that I'm like, who is this person, Crawford? Like, this says you have some girlfriend, or like, and I was laughing because people make these things up about you online, and you have to laugh at it, right? You have to.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think the older I get, the more, I mean, also too, when I was, I mean, to answer a little bit more into the question too, I think, especially before when I first started, I got a lot of hate online as well. I still do now, not as much as before. Um, but I think it's just something you learn to deal with. You learn as part of the job. You're when you present yourself to so many people at one time, you're gonna, even if 95% of it is love or 99 or whatever it is, you're still gonna have people that see you doing well or see you online and are gonna have something to say about it. But
That's true.
um, yeah.
Wow. And I've watched both, like I was sharing that earlier, that very thing. Let's talk about brand deals. Can you explain what they are and how did you come to do them? And do you remember your very first one? Like where you
Yeah.
got paid? Yeah.
So the first one I got where I didn't get paid, someone sent me a free shirt, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. But the first one where I got paid, I believe, was for a messaging app called Scout. I don't even know if they're still around anymore. But it's for Vine. And I mean, I'm not gonna say the amount of money, but it wasn't that much money really. It was a pretty small amount of money they were offering me, but it was like kind of the first time I was like, oh, this can actually be like something I make money off of, something because when I first started, especially back 10 years ago, there wasn't really a lot of money in social media. Most of it was like you might get some free clothes or somebody maybe would let you into an event back then. I mean, not really even at that point. So the amount of money was so small, so when I first got that first brand deal, I was like, wow, this is like maybe something I could do instead of working like my regular job. So, but yeah, it was for a messaging app. It was kind of funny. It was for Vine on a messaging app. So yeah.
Oh, that's fun. I remember when you did the candy one, and you had some funny, these people require different companies require different things for you to
Oh yeah.
post.
To answer your question too about getting into,
Yeah.
yeah, brand deals is essentially a brand will approach you and they'll be like, they'll see that you have a following and people that care about what you're saying, and they'll approach you like, hey, we'll pay you this amount to talk about our product, essentially. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And what did it feel like to get your very first large payment for a brand deal?
It felt amazing actually. Yeah, and like I don't know, again, like to be able to make money doing what you love, I think is the ultimate thing, and I think everybody strives for that. So to when it started being like a real thing where I was like, oh, I can support myself doing this and continue to do what I really would be doing for free. Um, it to this day I still appreciate, every deal I get, and I'm very thankful, and I try to remind myself like that I'm in a blessed position to be able to do that. So yeah, it felt good.
And there were times that you had to make a decision that even though, like, I remember there was like a 30K deal or something, you said, no, this is not who I am.
Yeah, I don't promote anything that goes against what I value as a person. I think that's an important thing. I think the same way a brand comes to you and they have their values, my brand I built, if I waver from those values, people aren't going to trust me, and people aren't going to, you know you want to make sure you hold strong to what you believe and what you love, and only promote products that fit within that. Because if you're just promoting anything, for example, if you're let's say a tobacco company comes to you and offers you $50,000, I mean, that's $50,000, but if you don't smoke or you don't want people to smoke, you're not going to take that, So I think it's very important to stay true to who you are, and what products you would actually use or what products you actually trust. And
Mhm.
yeah.
That's awesome. And what are some of the wonderful things and benefits you received from having big brand deals? Like you got to live in a nicer house, and what were some of the
Um,
things?
I've got a lot of really cool deals with, I guess, like music festivals where they give you like VIP tickets, or, artists, wristbands, and places to stay. Um, I remember we did a deal. Well, Chris did a deal where they flew us out to Hawaii, and we got to like do some really cool stuff over in Hawaii. So I mean, there's a lot of very, very, very cool stuff, and cool brands we've gotten to work with, and it's a blessing. Even a couple movies we promoted where we got to go to the premiere and meet the actors and kind of like create content with them, which I think are the best types of deals. Like any deal where it's making the content you're creating better. I mean, that's the ideal situation, is like you partner with a brand and they either fund or give you an opportunity to create a piece of content that maybe you wouldn't have been able to create otherwise. I think it's like the ultimate collaboration with a brand. So yeah.
That's cool. And he got to buy some of the cars that he loved. But also on the other hand, Crawford, you've been able to give into, myself included, like Crawford put resources into me building up to become a coach, and to walk through this, to be here for Moms of Rising Stars. And so I just want to honor you in that, Crawford. Like you gift and have such a heart of generosity. And this is what I'm talking to the moms about. You know, this is a part of legacy, is taking something that you love, that you're talented in, utilizing it, putting on platform, exposing it, and then having a legacy to make a positive impact and touch someone else's life. There's nothing like it.
Oh, definitely. I I mean, for me, as cool as, getting a lot of followers or, making money from what you're doing, like that, to a small percent, I consider that success. But to me, it's more about like my family, my friends, the people I have in my life, actually, having genuine connections with people. So I think I've been helped so many times getting to where I'm at, whether that's from you and dad, my siblings, my friends, Corey, Keen and JC. I could go on forever. Like just so many people, helped me to get to where I'm at. So anytime, I have an opportunity to help someone I love, I always sorry about my voice, by the way. I hate that
Okay.
today it's decided to be like this. But any chance, I have to kind of build into someone else that I love and, help them pursue something they love, I try to do it because I've had so many people do that for me, even maybe when I felt like I didn't deserve it. So I think people and connection, that's what matters at the end of the day to me. Less about, how many views a video got or how many followers I have or, how much money is in my bank account. So
That's so
yeah.
powerful. I love that about you. How has being a part of a community impacted your personal professional growth? Like, what are some of the challenges? Like, how do you navigate competition or disagreements or conflicts? And, what has brought you through in that?
I attribute almost all my success to collaboration, actually. Not to say I don't bring value to the table and that I'm not, giving value in return. But like I said, like even from the beginning with Chris, helping me with the videos and the editing and getting into YouTube. And then I go down the line of, 30, 40, 50 people I've collaborated with throughout the years that were my friends that, helped me with editing, helped me with a thumbnail, helped me be in a video, gave me their time, helped me, whatever it is, like I could go on forever. So I attribute my success almost entirely to that at this point. So
Wow. And Crawford, something that's always been so huge to you is like your friends are like family. Uh, you embrace your family, and we're so important to you. But you also embrace your friends in a way that, like, I watched a live one time and I was crying and impacted for a few weeks just watching. Um, and not everyone in your community has the same beliefs and the same values, or we're all different, right? But I watched a different type of community from what I'm used to, and I was moved by the kingdom aspect, like how God wants kingdom of supporting and encouraging and uplifting and building into each other. And I really honor that about you, Crawford, that you're loyal to your friends and to your family, and you care about how to make community better. And that's what today is about, is community. How do you see the role of community evolving in this entertainment industry and social media, to be more positive, and the impact it have on rising stars and their families to make it in the industry?
first off, thank you, Mom. I love you. Thank you for all that. You always hyping me up, so I appreciate it.
It's true.
Um, I, you know, like I said, in my personal experience, it's been and from what I've seen with a lot of people in my industry around me, I think it's the most important thing is community. Um, you know, I've seen people in this industry do really well for a short amount of time, and then it's a small world. If you start, treating people badly or screwing people over and not being genuine with people, people are gonna not only cut you off, but the word's gonna get around quick and people aren't gonna want to work with you. So I think the number one thing I would say to anybody trying to get into any industry, forget just social media. If you're, even if you're trying to be a doctor or engineer or whatever, like I think the way you treat people and the respect that you give them and they give you and the community you build is, only going to amplify you to another level. People want to work with who they enjoy being around. People want to work with people that um, support them and genuinely care about what they're doing and their success. So I would say forget about competition. There's enough room in the sun for everybody. It doesn't matter to me if my friend's video does better or, they're making more money or whatever. Because if I start looking at them and not focusing on me, it's only affecting me. And then it's
Yeah.
gonna make me resent them for what. So I think it's so important to remember that, you know, I believe your community is your wealth, and long-term success. I think it's almost a necessity. Uh, Without it, I think you're gonna come out here or wherever you're doing it at, and it's gonna be a very short-lived situation if you start, not actually caring about the people you work with. So
Wow, that's huge, Crawford. And I see that represented in you. So I know that you're speaking from, the truth of what you've lived through for all these
not the
years.
but even just like a cool example is like my best friend from middle school since I was 12. He out of Canada started an entertainment company and now they're doing very, very well. Now we're working together,
Wow.
10 years later and building another brand and filming some great content and able to collaborate. And that's someone we didn't work together for 10 years, but we've just been best friends and uh kept up with each other. And he's been in Canada, I've been in LA. We obviously try to call whenever we can. Had no idea we'd end up in the same industry, had no idea we'd be working together 10 years later. He was going to be an engineer, I think, at one point, and then he switched his path to marketing and then started a marketing company and then started an agency. And now we're creating content. That's where I'm going after this call, actually, is to go film some content at their studio they have out here in
Wow.
LA.
Yeah.
So just like, it's crazy. Like, you never know. People, when you have a good relationship with someone, you might end up like getting an opportunity and it benefits both of you like 10 years later, 15 years later. So I think it's very cool example of that.
Yeah, I touched on that earlier today, but I have to, put this in here. I was a little concerned about the relationship with in those years with some of these friends, and that's what I want to highlight to you, moms. I didn't see the future, and I didn't know that this would be a positive impact 10 years down the road. So that's a good testimony for moms, Crawford. That's a good testimony for moms.
Teenagers are gonna be teenagers, you're gonna make dumb decisions. I think as long as you have friends that are making dumb decisions that actually care about you versus friends that don't, I think that's the difference. And even though we might have done some dumb stuff when we were kids, we were also actually, that was actually my really good friend. We had each other's back at the end of the day. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the difference versus friends that maybe I don't hang out with anymore. Which again goes back to my point. It's like it's so important community, it's so important relationships. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
That is funny. But Crawford, that taught me
Yeah.
through the journey with all of you in your teen years and just finding yourself, discovering who you are, that we as moms have to be careful that we don't judge by choices and actions only, that we actually can see the heart of our child and we can actually trust God that he has you. And I know the years that I prayed through and walked through, I know God was there and speaking to you and to your siblings, like everyone in their own journey. And it delights my heart to see you guys as men and women, walking in your space, your uniqueness, and impacting the world in the way that you're intended to. And just developing, and you're always developing and growing, not arrived, but just to see you fulfilled in that makes a mama happy. This mama happy.
Well, I could say the same, in a lot of ways about you. It's amazing to see you creating this and what you're doing. And I know it's your passion and it's just super cool to see as well. So
Thank you. Now, I know yesterday, I don't know if you want to share anything in this regard and only share what you're comfortable with. But yesterday was a very significant day and I got a call. I saw your post also what happened with your car, but you were supposed to speak yesterday. So I shared on here for people to pray for you yesterday because I know it was a hard day. But if you would like to share, how the last few years have really impacted your life and what purpose and positive has come out of this.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, I lost my best friend to a car accident. Very unexpected. He was 25 years old. It was actually on his birthday. Corey LeBerry. It was a little emotional, but he was such a one of those people that, back to what I said, one of those people that, you know, was supporting me maybe when I wasn't, you know, believing in myself, and was just a real genuine person that everybody met. And was always supporting me with not only like real life stuff, but also work stuff with like, you know, making sure I posted. We shared a channel, a YouTube channel together. Um, and he was like a brother to me. And obviously losing someone that close to me, and uh, so unexpectedly, I had never experienced that before. So it was a very obviously very, very, very hard time. The hardest thing I think I've ever had to experience in my life. But on the positive note, um, I think it made me really appreciate life and appreciate what I was given, as well as I feel like it really brought everyone who loved him together so close. Like I feel like I really have a family out here. So every year we celebrate his birthday, May 10th, and all of our friends get together. We do like a big celebration. Um, and this was the third year we've done that. So it's a very special day to us. It's like a holiday. We all get together, we have balloons, we celebrate because he would want us to celebrate and be happy. So it's not a sad occasion. It's a very celebratory. Like he affected all of our lives so much to the point where even after, maybe he's not here on earth, but he's still bringing us together, which
Wow.
is very crazy. So yeah.
Wow. And to watch you as a mom, coming through this, and ice cream truck showed up too. Like it's kind of cool. This ice cream truck keeps showing up every year.
Yeah, that's wild. A
Yeah,
lot
just
of a lot of cool signs that he's still here with us, and looking out for us. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I love I'm so sorry that you lost your best friend and work partner, and I know he continues to live on.
I
And
really believe he's watching over me. I've had a lot of signs where I feel like guardian angels are real, and I think he was that for me here on earth, and I think he continues to be that when he's not here. So, and
wow,
I've had a lot of to kind of point towards that. So
wow, it's
yeah.
beautiful, Crawford. Thanks for sharing, because I know that's not easy for you, and I love you so much. And you came out with something like a statement, happy to be here. And you made some t-shirts and sweatshirts, but where'd that come from?
I mean, it started kind of as a joke. Not really a joke, but something I just say in videos like, "Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having." Because we do a lot of collaborations, so I go do someone else's channel, go on their channel, do a video. I'm like, "Oh, I'm happy to be here. What's
Yeah.
up? Thanks for having me." But I think after everything that happened, well, not solely because of that, but I think I really started to feel like there was a bigger meaning to it. That like, you know, life's full of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here. You're gonna have good days, bad days. So kind of like a little bit of a pick me up, or a little bit of like everything's gonna be all right. Just be thankful what you do have, and be thankful that you're here, and be thankful you have your health. And um, I don't know, yeah, just kind of started as kind of a joke, and kind of built more into that. So kind of like a brand that
Wow.
I
Well,
share with the people around me. So yeah.
it impacted me in my journey as well, because I was going through grieving at the same time of losses, and our family got really hit, and I'm just so proud of you getting back up and going into positive, and not stopping, but moving forward, and developing. And Corey will be really proud of you, because that's what he was trying to push you to do in the season that you were in back then.
Yeah, definitely was always the one. Like I said, we shared a channel together, and he always saw the potential in me, maybe when I wasn't living up to it, I guess, if
Yeah,
that's probably the best way to put it.
yeah, yeah.
He was always kind of on me to post, and on me to edit, and on me to, you know, I wasn't really pulling my weight, I guess, and he was kind of, in a way, taking time out of like what he could be doing by himself to really build me up with him, which was really cool.
Wow. And as a mom, that's so beautiful to hear. And now you hear him constantly telling you Now he'll never go away. Now you'll be hearing him forever.
The big reason why I feel like I've, had a lot of success since then is I want to continue to, he believed in me and a lot of people have, even when I necessarily didn't believe myself. So
Yeah,
I want to make him proud, want to make them proud. So
yeah,
I mean, you're one of those people, Dad's one of those people, all my siblings, so many people. So
yeah.
I think the big reason uh why I do what I do and why I try to give the same to, anyone who I know who maybe isn't living up to their full potential. Not that I'm living up to my full potential, but I'm trying to do better every day. And
You are.
anyone who maybe isn't quite there, but I know they have the potential, I always try to build into that. So yeah.
I love your heart, Crawford. And as a mama that it's beautiful to see you stepping into identity and confidence. And we want that for every one of our children. And you've shared so wonderful today for moms to hear, from the heart of a young man who has been through, living in Hollywood, built social media platform, done brand deals. And it all comes back to community. And one of the first points I said about community was personal. It's personal. It's personal to have community. You don't want to be lonely. It's one thing to be alone and in peace, I was sharing, but to be alone and lonely is a horrible place to be. And that's what we want to encourage moms, just what's, I guess I'll ask this question too, like how many times teenagers don't tell their parents what's really going on? Like I was naive. And for what would you say for moms to look for to see the heart of their child, to hear their mind, to care about, where they're at?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Teenagers are difficult. I don't know. Like I don't even know what I thought myself back then. A lot of when I look back, I'm like, the decisions I made or things I was doing, I was like, even I don't know what I'd say to myself a lot of the time. Um, but I think the biggest thing I think parents can do is just, even if they mess up, be there to love them. And, that's what I knew even if you were disappointed, no matter what, you would still support me and love me and care about me. So I think there's not necessarily a secret thing you can do to get them to open up to you or like a magical word. I think it's just having them know that even if they mess up, you're still there, I think is the biggest thing. So
Yeah, it was beautiful. And Crawford also, like, I think allowing people to grow, like allowing your children to grow. And it might take longer for some and shorter for some. And to have that strength, I think that as a mom, what I have walked through is to have that strength to go to God and just not put that on my child, and I've had to grow and learn that. And I find that I'm not bothered by the same things because I see differently, you know, because when we see the heart of our child, we recognize something incredible because God makes beautiful hearts. And like that's what shines from you, Crawford, is your heart. And you're straight up and you tell it like it is, but you do it in such a kind way, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming today. I want to ask if you have something that you like to say to the moms to encourage them, or whatever is on your heart.
well, thank you, Mom. I appreciate you having me. This was fun. I didn't exactly know fully what we're gonna get into or whatnot, but I think like I said, I'm so proud of you. I'm happy you're chasing your dreams, and I think you have so much valuable information to teach people. And I wouldn't for a second be where I'm at, and I know all our siblings would say the same thing. The level of success without you and Dad there to kind of support us and have our back the whole time. So and to all the moms out there, I would just say just love your kids, man. I think support them and love them. That's as simple as that. Like they may not agree with you on everything. They're not going to make all the right choices, but I think just love on them, support them, support their dreams. Don't tell them they can't do it. Tell them they can be whoever they want to be. Um, and yeah, I think I think people overcomplicate it. I think it's, I think it's as simple as that. But I think everyone thinks there's a magical path, or there's a one way to do things. There's a million ways to do it, but I think at the root of everything, it's, community isn't just community with your friends, it's community with your kids or your mom, your dad. So I think it's just like love on people, show people respect, support them. And I think whether it's work or personal, that's when you're gonna succeed the most. So
Wow, guys, that's powerful. Like my mama heart is like up in my throat, like, yes, like, thank you, Crawford. Thank you. And
I
bless.
think I don't get to do as much. Not that I'm, on live stream every once in a while, I get into deeper stuff, but I think online I'm a little more,
Yeah.
I guess, not getting as deep. So it's been very nice to kind of talk with my mom, who I love, and talk to you people. I wish I could see you guys, but
Yeah.
it's very cool. Very cool to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be.
Happy to be here. We can close with that. Oh, thank you, Crawford. I love you, and have an amazing day. And we just pray a blessing of, even more breakthrough and healing from what you shared and walked through from, Corey. And last night he had his tire slashed somehow, and they popped on the freeway, right? And you got off on time, and I'm like, thank you, God.
It
That
all
you
works
have
out.
your hand. We prayed for you. We prayed for you yesterday.
I appreciate it. I love you, Mama. Thank you for
Love
having me.
you. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks for coming.